I want to introduce him to you. A man who's become one of my closest and best friends. A man who is passionate and fiery and fired up about youth football and is here today on his time to come in here. Former Pittsburgh Steeler great, Merril Hoge.
Doc, you read everything perfectly that I handed you. Hey, it's an honor to be here. He had mentioned we have a bunch of different fan bases from the Patriots and Eagles and Steelers. But today we're all football fans at the end of the day. Dr. Cummings mentioned I played in the National Football League for a long time. One of my greatest rivals and a guy I respected immensely, one of the greatest of all times, quite honestly, in the history of the National Football League is Andre Tippett, who's with us. And you know, like when you think about football and what it does from a youth perspective, it gives hope, it builds relationships, it gives you things, experiences that no other experience does. And that's why when people ask me what's the greatest thing I ever did in sports, it was coaching youth football. Youth football gave me more joy by coaching my son than anything that I have ever done. And I've played at every level. I've experienced things in football that I used to dream of when I was a kid. In fact, the words "find a way" have always been pivotal in my life. They've inspired action. Well, Dr. Cummings mentioned a book that I wrote. Those words resonate with me today. When I'm unsure of something, or I want to change something, or I want to accomplish something, I use those words to inspire me to do my part. Doing my part was to find out what are the real facts. What's the real danger that our kids are running risks of, if there are any. So I went on a quest from this country into Canada, sat with neuropathologist upon neuropathologist. And what I'm going to leave with you for this, especially you parents and coaches, this might be the most significant thing that you hear today that you understand. I wanted to know, what is CTE? Well, what is it actually from a scientific perspective? Every one of the neuropathologists from Dr. Cummings, Castellani in West Virginia, Lily Hazarati up in Canada would all say the same thing to me. And I went with almost a dozen neuropathologists individually. They said the same thing. Merril, it's a pattern that we're observing right now. We don't know what causes it, and we don't know what it causes. And I said, well, wait a minute. Football players and hockey players have it. They're like, There's over 100 cases in the medical journal where they never played sports, they never had a history of head trauma, and they never had a concussion. And I said, well, why don't we hear about those? Like I told you, we're observing it. Nobody knows. So, well, I hear subconcussion. Merril, subconcussion is nothing but science fiction. I can hand you literature upon literature, which they did and we put in the book, where it's poorly defined, it's misleading, and it can't be measured. Therefore, it is not science. It is science fiction. And until there's a scientific definition, which has changed many times if you listen to Boston University, the current one is any sudden shift. So if you had a sudden shift on a roller coaster, trampoline, riding a bike, gymnastics, I'm not looking at anybody here that has been exposed in that manner. Again, why it's science fiction. So that doesn't exist, but people use it as if it's scientific fact. So when I talk to people about that, to me is an abuse of science, and it's corrupt. And Boston University has driven that narrative with no scientific evidence or facts behind it. That is what's driven a lot of fear with this narrative. All of the changes people have talked about exist. I was in Congress in 2009, not because I'd made changes then. I started changes in 1991 when I knew we could make the game better and safer for my kids, for the kids I'm going to coach. Not just how we practice. The most important thing I ever did in youth sports was establish a head trauma protocol that started in 2003. Before any of it was ever done at any youth level. That's why I went to Congress in 2009. We were doing stuff in the NFL, NHL, NCAA, and nothing for 99% of our kids, 8 to 18. And I pleaded for them to create a standard of care and a protocol to protect all our kids and all our sports. Concussions happen in a variety of activities, not just athletics. My son started playing football at age 7. His first concussion, age 20, slipped in a shower 4 days before his first bowl game. Couldn't play in the bowl game because it was a week out. So missed his first bowl game by an accident in the shower. Accidents happen, concussions can happen in a whole host of environments. They're trying to ban tackle football because of the so-called subconcussion. It doesn't exist. It's not scientific. And the media needs to do a good job of when people make reference to that, ask them for the definition, and then say, give me the scientific literature to confirm it. It doesn't exist. So they created a narrative, and young people, it would be like you cheating and lying. We don't allow our kids to cheat and lie, but we're allowing a university to cheat and lie, and abuse science, and suppress science. That's harmful to people, and it's wrong, and it's criminal in a lot of facts. So, what you're doing here today may be one of the most significant things we do for our kids. We make the environments better and safer, but we do give the choice to educated, informed people. We educate ourselves, we empower ourselves with all the information. It's a scientific fact. You make better decisions. That's what we're doing. That's why we wrote the book, to give parents all of the facts to help them make choices. And then it's up to you. I'll never tell a parent what to do, but I'll surely give you all the information to help you make the choice. And that's what we should do. It shouldn't be coming from government or legislation. It should be coming from parents and how they've decided to handle their family. And the more we do a good job of empowering people, the better choices we'll be making. Thank you very much for allowing me to be here. Pittsburgh Steelers fan, loves Boston.
Thank you very much, Merril.